Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to, depending on wherever you may live or however you choose to read your clock this early morning, middle of the night bonus upload. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to this early morning or middle of the night bonus upload, shall we? Today's bonus upload is a updated video from that young man out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Also, I am going to throw in a little bit of information on Dolce and one of the key figures and exposing it. So let's get into it.
Angel, how you mentioned you could hear them breathing. Can you describe how they were breathing earlier?
Just like growling in a way. Like you can hear like that. I don't know. It's weird, man.
A rattling coming out of their chest?
Yeah, kind of like growling, like a dog growling, something like that.
It's kind of freaky.
Like aggressive breathing.
You should tell them.
Any metal pieces left behind? No. I'm sorry. What?
You should tell them about the teeth.
Oh, the teeth. They had a lot of teeth. Like the one I saw had a lot of teeth, and they're like canine teeth. Were they hiding from you? In a way, yes, it kind of was. Pointy teeth, yes, kind of, yeah, pointy teeth, all of them. Where's the actual, I'm sorry. Where's the actual craft? Like I said many times, I never seen the craft. What state you in? Nevada? Oh, no problem, actually.
I think they never left, but we didn't like her. Can you show
Hi,
us
Sonny.
where?
Where is?
Let's set it right now. Can you show us where?
Literally, where am I right now?
Angel, did you see their hands?
Their hand? Yeah.
How many fingers? Did you see, like 5 fingers or have 3? Like how long? Could you describe that for us?
They look like normal hands, but they look like big. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. This is my first video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm trying to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me and my family. And I know some people are not gonna believe this, but each person is different. So this is what happened to me. Keep in mind, this is midnight and I'm fixing a truck in my backyard. At this point, I'm only with my brother and I hear something fall from the sky. I turn around, the only thing I see is a big light falling from the sky and moments after, I feel a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall. And me and my brother looked at each other, and we were scared, but when that impact happened, it was sort of like a shock wave, like an out-of-body experience. So to say, when I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry, not my vision, but only the backyard area. And I hear thousands of footsteps around me, and maybe a couple seconds later, the blurriness was gone. And here's the footage of the body, the police officer's body cam, and here's the object I'm referring to, the light. Video. Here's a Ring camera video. You can hear the bang. This is around the neighborhood. So here's the video. So when that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8-10 feet tall, very thin. So I called my dad. He went to the backyard and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. And here's the video where we were in the backyard area. You cannot see it too good, but on camera, but it's there. Here's the video.
¡Ay! ¡Permisar! Calmungarela, me canceles var eso. Cáelo, cherro, que chica. Cáelo, cherro.
Moments after the video, me and my brother went to go pick up my tools. Then my brother calls me, and he told me shakingly, look behind the forklift. So I look. Keep in mind I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien creature. So when I saw it, it was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray, greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird looking feet and a big face and eyes, and you can see a big mouth. And I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. And I start running towards the house. That's when I call 911, and here's the 911 call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard area, and a loud whispering, like you could hear whisperings. We were in the living room area, and you could hear footsteps on the roof. So we waited a little bit for the police. When they arrived, they told me I told them what I saw, and they were kind of freaked out. Here's the body cam of the officer.
Now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big. That's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro.
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to. Keep in mind, 2 officers came in my house, and one of them started running to his car, driving around the neighborhood, asking passing cars if they saw light.
What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
Goosebumps and freaking out. He started investigating that he told me his partner, she saw a light falling from the sky. He told me he believes me because her partner reported that she saw the same light as me. Now we're walking the front yard. Then the other officer came here. Here's a video of him talking to my family.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So, moments before they left, one of the officers told me, if I see the thing again, to don't call him, just shoot him. And you can hear in the video, here's the video.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So they left, and we went inside the house, and we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard. This is what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I hope you guys kind of understand what happened to me. I know it's hard to believe, but I saw what I saw, and it's kind of going viral. That's why I'm here to explain the story. I did an interview with journalist Doc Papa. I'm going to put his video in the description. I'm going to make a part 2 of the stuff that happened after May 1st. And thank you for watching.
Let's talk a little bit more about Dulce. I really enjoy these little segments. And so I tapped into the emails that I received about a year ago, and I pulled this interesting little tidbit out. In the early 1960s, a subterranean nuclear blast occurred about 30 miles southwest of Dulce, New Mexico, right off of US 64. This nuclear blast was conducted under the umbrella of Project Plowshare and was named Gas Buggy. It has recently been alleged that this particular subsurface nuclear blast was used to create a hollowed-out chute or chimney for development of a substation for a super-secret tunnel system attached to an underground Black Book project base. According to Tom Castello, a former Dolce base security officer, this particular underworld city is a highly secret base operated by humans as well as reptilian aliens and their worker caste, the commonly encountered Greys. It is here apparently that a multitude of experimentation projects are carried out, primarily genetic experimentations on kidnapped men, women, and children. There are a myriad of other specialty science projects taking place at Dulce Base, including, but not limited to, atomic manipulation, cloning, studies of the human aura, advanced mind control applications, animal-human crossbreeding, visual and audio wiretapping, and the list goes on. Dulce, New Mexico is a strange place indeed. It's a sleepy little town perched upon the Archuleta Mesa just south of the Colorado border in northern New Mexico. Tourists passing through sometimes see little more life in the town other than that of a scruffy dog lazily spread out alongside the dirt road. Some claim that upon entering the town, black vehicles with heavily tinted windows tailgate them until they are outside of the city limits and heading out of Dodge. In addition, several other sources who wish to remain nameless reported oddities in their work with Operation Plowshare during the 60s. The project was created under the guise of the use of atomic bombs during peacetime and forged ahead under the umbrella of natural gas exploration. In fact, several of these multi-kiloton blasts were used as a rapid way of developing huge subsurface chambers for facility development. It is reported that the technology to clean radiation is available and already in use in such projects. When I lectured on Friday, August 13th of 1993 in Las Vegas, I made public for the first time ever the floor plans to levels 1 and 6 of the Dulce base. The floor plans were reproduced from the originals that were handed to Thomas Castello's friend. This friend did not previously release the floor plans because they were being used as a verification device to the claims of abductees that say they were there. To date, the originals have verified and disproved many stories circulating the field of UFOlogy. This friend of Thomas Castello, however, believes that it is time to begin to reveal the missing pieces. The Dolce base floor plan was illustrated as per the originals by Thomas Castello, and I released it during my lecture in Las Vegas, Nevada. Its layout, when inspected carefully, appears to be extremely strategically planned. From the vertical viewpoint, it resembles a wheel with a central hub and corridors radiating outward like spokes. This hub is the focal point of the entire base. It is surrounded by central security and extends through all levels of the base. I believe this core to be the Achilles heel of the entire facility. It probably contains fiber optic communications and power lines. This would justify its highly guarded and central location, as well as explain its vertical continuation through all levels, with all communication lines and power lines focused toward the hub. It is possible that any one level could be completely locked down by its own security or the security hubs from either above or below its own level. This would provide maximum control over the entire facility. The spokes or corridors radiating away from the central hub lead to numerous other labs in 5 different directions. Connect the spokes and a pentagon is revealed in its design. From above, this base resembles the layout of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., complete with halls, walls, and military insignias. Since we do not have the exact heading on its corridors, magnetic alignments are impossible to determine. When viewed laterally, its appearance takes on the look of a tree with a trunk at its center and its floors extending outward like branches. If this is a facility of science, then one could easily say that its lateral appearance is like that of the tree of knowledge. Was this purposely designed this way, or does it just happen to be coincidence? The overall design of this facility reminds one of a multi-stacked subterranean Hopi Indian kiva, although I believe that is somewhat of a disservice to the Hopi to even be spoken of in association with a cave of horrors like the Dolce base. Its similarity in design should not be forgotten. As cultures around the world tend to bring their own styles of architecture with them during periods of migration, so perhaps did the advanced civilization that originally built the Dolce base. If the reptilian influence over man is as great as archaic documentation and myth would have one believe, then there have to be other subterranean dwellings similar to this in other locations. Side note, the following are some additional facts and comments concerning the late Thomas Edwin Castello, which are not mentioned elsewhere in his work. These have been paraphrased from the research files of John Rhodes. In 1961, Castello was a young sergeant stationed at Nellis Air Force Base near Las Vegas, Nevada. His job was as a military photographer with a top-secret clearance. He later transferred to West Virginia, where he trained in advanced intelligence photography. He worked inside an undisclosed underground installation, and due to the nature of his new assignment, his clearance was upgraded to TS-4. He remained with the Air Force as a photographer until 1971, at which time he was offered a job with Rand Corporation as a security technician. And so he moved to California, where Rand had a major facility, and his security clearance was upgraded to Ultra 3. The following year, he met a woman named Kathy, and they married and had a son, Eric. In 1977, Thomas was transferred to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where his pay was raised significantly and his security clearance was again upgraded, this time to Ultra 7. His new job was as a photo security specialist in the Dolce installation, where his job specification was to maintain, align, and calibrate video monitoring cameras throughout the underground complex and to escort visitors to their destinations. Once arriving in Dulce, Thomas and several other new recruits attended a mandatory meeting where they were introduced to the big lie, that the subjects being used for genetic experimentation were hopelessly insane, and the research is for medical and humane purposes. Beyond that, all questions were to be asked on a need-to-know basis. The briefing ended with severe threats of punishment for being caught talking to any of the insane or engaging in conversation with others not directly involved with one's current task. Venturing outside of the boundaries of one's own work area without reason was also forbidden, and most of all, discussing the existence of the joint alien/U.S. government base to any outsider would generate severe and, if necessary, deadly repercussions. Thomas did his job as his superiors demanded. At first, his encounters with the Grey and reptilians in the base were exhilarating, but soon he became acutely aware that all was not what appeared to be. Thomas slowly began to sense that there was an underlying current of tension existing between some of the personnel and himself. Once in a while, he would walk around a corner interrupting serious discussions between coworkers, and as Thomas was a security officer, these talks would die off into a short murmur, and individuals would part company. One particular part of his job was to go into various areas of the base and align the security monitoring cameras when it was necessary. This afforded him the opportunity to venture out and witness things that would stagger the imagination. Later, he was to report seeing laboratories that investigated the fouling, auric energy fields of humans, astral and spirit body voyaging and manipulation, PSI studies, advanced mind control analysis and application, human brain memory recognition, acquisition and transfer, matter manipulation, human and alien cloning, rapid human body replication by use of energy matter transfer, complete with an individual's memory from the neural network computer memory banks, and other scientific advances. Once in a while, Thomas would see some of the horrific genetic creations that were housed in separate sections of the base. These, he knew, couldn't have had anything to do with mental illness or health research. Thomas didn't want to look any further. For every time he discovered more pieces to this underground maze, it became more and more overwhelming to accept. His curious mind, however, implored him to search for the truth regardless of his own desire to turn away in horror. One day, Thomas was approached by another employee who ushered him into a side hallway. Here he was approached by two other gentlemen that whispered the most horrifying words. The men, women, and children that were said to be mentally retarded were, in fact, heavily sedated victims of abduction. He warned the men that their words and actions could get them in big trouble if he were to turn them in. At this, one man told Thomas that they were all observing him and noticed that he, too, was uncomfortable with what he was witnessing. They knew that Thomas had a conscience, and they knew they had a friend. They were right. Thomas did not turn them into his commanders. Instead, he made the dangerous decision to quietly speak with one of the caged humans in the area nicknamed Nightmare Hall. Through their drug-induced state, he asked their name and their hometown. Thomas discreetly investigated the claim of this insane human during his weekends out of the facility. He discovered through his search that the person had been declared missing in their hometown after vanishing suddenly, leaving behind their traumatized families who followed dead ends and trailed flyers. Soon he discovered that many of the hundreds, perhaps thousands of men, women, and children were actually listed as missing or unexplained disappearances. Thomas knew he was in over his head, and so were several of his co-workers. All he could do until somehow the situation changed was to be alert and extremely guarded with his thoughts. The gray aliens' telepathic capabilities allowed them to read the minds of those around them, and if he revealed his intense anger, it would be all over for him and his new friends. In 1978, tensions within the Dulce base were extremely heightened. Several security and lab technicians began to sabotage the genetic experiments. Increasing frail nerves and paranoia finally erupted into what is commonly referred to as the Dulce Wars. It was a literal battle between the reptilians and the humans for the control of the Dulce base. It was the reptilians more than humans that were pushing the big lie and insisted on using humans in their experiments, and those who did not survive the experiments were used as sources for food, which was the liquid protein tanks which fed both gray fetus as well as the full-grown grays as a source of nourishment. The initial Dulce war conflict began on level 3. No one is exactly sure how it started, but we do know through Thomas's account that it involved base security forces armed with beam weapons known as flash guns, machine gun-toting U.S. military personnel, and the gray alien species that were playing both sides against each other. When the smoke cleared, 68 humans had been killed. 21 were completely vaporized and 19 escaped via the tunnels. 7 were recaptured and 12 remain in hiding to this day. Thomas returned to his post awaiting the planning of his own escape, but in 1979, the intense pressure brought upon Thomas by his job finally made him break the code of silence. He told his best friend by a hand-passed note that he was working in a subsurface huge installation outside of Dulce, New Mexico. He also told his friends that he was working side by side with gray aliens that consider themselves native Tarians, and that the upside-down black triangle with the inverted gold-colored T inside was the insignia of the project. Thomas knew that he had to leave the job for his own peace of mind. However, now that he knew the truth about the abductees being held below, it would be almost impossible to live a normal life. He would always be under observation and threat until the day he died. He also was aware of a fact that the old age may not be his downfall. His demise could easily be expedited by certain individuals. After one of his weekends away from the facility, he decided to return to work, this time through one of the less guarded air shafts unannounced, and into the base by way of a secret passage. Once inside, he proceeded to appear as if he was working his normal duties while taking charge of every thought as he passed by the grays. During this time inside the base, he removed still photographs of the facility and treaties signed with authentic signatures between California Governor Ronald Reagan, several other individuals, and the Greys. Thomas also managed to retrieve a 7-minute black and white surveillance video of genetic experiments, caged humans, Greys, as well as schematics of alien devices and complex genetic formulas. These items, he felt, were not only his chance to a seat at the bargaining table when the need arose, but also they were things that the public needed to know about. He made copies of the films, photos, and paperwork, packed several packages, and instructed several different people who he trusted to bury or hide them until the time was right. He was then made aware through certain sources that his wife Kathy and son Eric had been forcibly taken from their home to an undisclosed underground facility for safe holding until he decided to return the items. At this point, he knew that even if he did return everything to the Dolce commanders, that his wife and son were probably never going to be the same again, if even returned at all, after being manipulated by aggressive mind control. He also knew that he and his family would most definitely become permanently missing due to some tragic accident. Thomas was at zero options. He quickly dissolved into a lonely life on the run, from state to state, border to border, motels to sofas, always looking behind him and trying his best to look ahead. Now, according to some sources, Thomas was living in exile in Europe and died somewhere between 2009 to 2011 of terminal cancer. He never did. He abandoned his family. He abandoned his wife and son. I don't know how to look at that. Part of me looks at him as a hero for bringing this to public's attention, but then at the same sense a coward for abandoning his wife and child. I know that if my two daughters were in a place called Nightmare Hall, I would do my damnedest to try to get those girls out of there and die trying. Well, there you have it, folks. This early morning, middle of the night bonus. I do hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. After all, it is your support that helps the channel to continue to grow and go, and honestly what gives us a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Just simply treated with the respect that we all deserve. Everyone, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there, and they are dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.